Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Javez and welcome to the United Kingdom. Welcome to Bradford in West Yorkshire. Today I'm going to take you on a tour across to Lancashire, to a wonderful town. I'm going to show you the motorways, I'm going to show you the highest point in England. We're going to talk about the population of this wonderful town and some of its great facts. So stay here and let's go. So we've got in the car and we're about to leave the city of Bradford, and like all good Muslims do, we've read our 5 surahs of the Quran with 6 bismillahs. We've read our du'as as well, and we're going through the city centre of Bradford. Our journey time is more or less about 45 minutes. It's about more or less about 35 miles, give or take a few diversions on our roads and motorways these days. So enjoy, let's go. Or whether you want to go to Scotland. So because it's so busy, the drivers decided to take us through the local streets. And for those of you that are not aware, the speed limit on this road is 30 miles per hour. And we're about to join a dual carriageway, which is still 30 miles an hour, except if you live in certain places, it's 70 miles an hour. So we've managed to escape the local streets and now we are about to join the motorway. So for those of my friends that are not aware, in the United Kingdom, the national speed limit on a motorway is 70 miles per hour. And here we have a roundabout controlled by traffic lights. So as we head out, to this secret, what an absolute beautiful day. So as we leave Yorkshire and aiming to hit the borders of Lancashire within the next 20 to 25 minutes or so. So we're just going past the M62 and we're going on the motorway where there's a farm in the middle which hides just a little bit over the little mound here, and there's a lot of history around this particular farm. We're currently on the M62. The M62 runs for about 107 miles and it is a motorway in the northern part of England. It links Liverpool and Hull via Manchester, and along its way it has Bradford, Leeds, Wakefield and different cities all along it as well. In terms of the Euro routes, it's I think the E20 and unofficially the E22, and further on it's gyratory, or a huge roundabout, I'll say that again, a huge motorway ahead, which is the M60. Was built more or less, I think it was about 2010, about 10 or 12 years ago, and it was really developed as a link road for Manchester Airport and also the Commonwealth Games as well. And currently the motorway is actually rising, so we're getting to an area called Saddleworth, which is on our left hand side, which has a little bit of its own notorious history from many years ago. And we're now starting to reach the pinnacle point of the highest motorway in England. So this part of the motorway here, we have Saddleworth and Denshaw, and it's basically the borderline between Lancashire and Yorkshire. So we have the highest point, the summit of the highest motorway in England at this point, which is 1,220 foot above sea level. And as you can see, you may have a clue the direction in which we are now heading. And if you're one of those people who watches those shows, this little place on the left is one of those little naughty points, which we won't talk about right now. And just enjoy the view. Feels like an aeroplane as opposed to feeling like being a passenger in a car. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Saddleworth. Many years ago when we were in Pakistan, my uncle was riding a motorbike. So thank you for watching so far. So we've just come past Saddleworth However, that's not our destination. So if I just flip the camera the other way around, is the red brick buildings, if you're not familiar, or if you are familiar. So now we've started to hit, okay, deep Lancashire, and we are heading towards Oldham in Lancashire. So we have now arrived in Oldham in Lancashire, and Oldham has got some beautiful buildings. And if I just zoom in on this, this is the Oldham Equitable Cooperative Society from, I believe, round about the 1800s. And like most towns, we've actually hit a traffic jam. Well, according to the sign, Oldham is the gateway to the Pennines. So welcome to Oldham. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a history tour. I'm going to tell you about Oldham, about the people, about where they're at, about how they live. Okay, and that's not everyone, it's just a little snapshot. So be with us, have fun, I'm sure you'll learn lots. Do subscribe to the videos, okay, share them with your friends and your family as well. It's all light-hearted, nothing serious, so let's go into Oldham. So now we are in Oldham, and where are we? We're in Castleton Street. So let's go for a walk and let me tell you about. So Oldham is an old famous town, and the two parts of its name, old and ham. Old meaning old, and I think ham means of like a house and a farm. So Oldham is in Greater Manchester. At the sides of the town we have places like Rochdale, Bury, Manchester itself, the blue side and the red side. Oldham was, or is, very famous, okay, for its own cotton industry and its cotton spinning farm and textiles from the 19th century. This was like considered to be what we call like a capital, and it's famous for its own little trails, the out of town trails, the Ryton trails, the Alexandra trails as well. Lancashire and Oldham is famous for its red brick homes. Currently has a population more or less of 300,000, and the BME community is about 22.5%. And this is the famous Jamia Lane. I'm talking about red brick buildings. Here we have the Dog Inn. So in Pushto, what they call the pub, and in Yorkshire, what they call the pub. And look, on the corner we have Abdul Rahman Lala's little palace, Abdul Rahman Lala's house. There we have, just over the bridge on the other side we have the trams that run to Manchester. And here we have Freehold Community Primary Academy. And I was talking about history, and look what we have behind it, an old mill chimney. So as we are like on the edges of Werneth and Freehold, this is the edge of the school, and we have the very famous, look, Lincoln Street here. Now, and then it says Freehold, so my geography is not brilliant, but as you will see all the red brick houses, Werneth has a population of around about 15,000. Chadderton, Freehold, and I think it's Hollins are all bordered to this area. Now, in 1979 to 1980, when I was a young child, my father, God bless his soul, he came into Oldham to work in the mills, to work in the cotton industry. And at that time, it was a very different community. There was definitely fewer cars in the area, and acquaintances, cousins and friends, okay, live here as well. I think Ramzan's house is here as well, and Farman's house is here too, just on the corner. So if you wear Sakhelvis, look, this is a Sakhelvi, and Sikandar, I don't know if Sikandar Lala or Kaka, I'm not sure now. However, look, this is a little Sakhelvi community. So just going back to when I was little and we were living in these areas, we were allowed to play here, but we were not allowed to go onto the road there. So basically that was like the borderline. so there would be more security for us as youngsters remaining within a community where there was a little bit more safety, because as little people, and we were quite a small community as well, trouble would arise if we went to the other side of Block Lake. So the community setup here is now very, very different. This area here is predominantly occupied by the Asian Pakistani community. Lots of people speaking Punjabi, Urdu, and lots of Pashto as well. Lots of families from places like Vesa, Sirka and the Chach area. So Chach in Pakistan is about 84 villages. So this is Lincoln Street as well, and here is Mumtaz Lala's shop. So we've just come to the end of Lincoln Street, and this is Oxford Street. So as you'll see, just on the opposite side, so we have the post office. We have somebody crossing the road there as well. And let me just cross the road. Oh, here's somebody's car. It looks like it says Nisar. And Sabza Dalala, lives in one of the houses just a little further up as well. A very, very nice person. Iftikhar, if you're watching, Zulfi, if you're watching, this is your street, this is your neck of the woods. So when I was younger, we would play in these streets over here somewhere. And look what I've just found. Oh, side here, look. I was just talking about him. I'm just saying, this is your neck of the woods. And look, I've just found him here. Salam bhai. So look, there's Zulfi. Okay, just talking about him, and he just turned up right on the moment. Okay, Allah Hafiz bhai, Allah Hafiz. Oh look, there's Bhai Zabir Khan and there's Junaid as well. So back in the 80s, we would play in these little areas here. It's changed so much now. With all the houses, and this is Chester Street. Oh my God, all the memories are now flooding back. And if you're wondering, where you would find nature, let me tell you, you would find nature right here. Apples, I believe, from the trees in the distance. Look at that, isn't that cool? So back to Chester Street. Oh my God, the memories are flooding back. So we lived in number 37 for a little while, on the corner there. Now currently, I believe, do not quote me on this, but in the area there are lots of people from the area of Chach. So villages like Vesa and Sirka, lots of bits of Mirpur as well, maybe like Formali Mala. So all those moons ago, when we came from Pakistan, when we came back from Pakistan, we lived in this corner house, number 37. Let's have a look. We stayed in this house here, and then after some months we moved to the house on the corner, which is number 2. And as we just walked down the street, the name I've forgotten of the street, Dorset Street. And in one of these houses, Ajab Khan, if you're watching, when I would leave for school in the morning, I can't remember which door it is now, it's such a long time ago, but Ajab Khan would always make me late when we used to go to South Shadderton School. I'd go into the room, his mum would call me in, and he'd go, Ajaba, 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 pasa, pasa, and Ajab would take ages to get ready. However, we always got to school on time. He was always late, we got to school on time. And as we just go down, look, there's Derby Street, and the Masjid was on the left hand side. So all those years ago there was one masjid which I remember, which was Jamia Masjid, which was on the corner, and we would attend the mosque there, only as little people. Can't remember the name of the Ustaji, but Ustaji would teach us, and although we didn't go to pray 5 times a day because we didn't know anything different at that time, we would go to the mosque on the corner, see through the vision of people, the community growing, a higher demand for education. We now have this here, which is a part of a new masjid which is developing, and all the people that are involved, from all the elders, all the youngsters, all the sponsors, all the things that go on, with all the organizations. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in all that they do, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the divine aid for the people involved, okay, to complete this masjid expansion project. And it goes on, and as we go around the corner, I believe this used to be a youth centre, and this is the old Jamia Masjid. Okay, so let's go inside because it's time to pray. And if you would like to get involved, look, here's the phone number, here are the details, and take part in a wonderful project. Now look, it's time for ablution in the basement of the masjid. Oh no.